Well, it's just such a joy to be here together with all the wagging tails and the little whimperings and yappings and all of those wonderful, very comforting noises that our animal companions make. You know, you guys always do such a good job. You always do. Everybody always worries and they say, wait a minute, you're doing an animal blessing in the actual church building? And I always say, yep, we do. The animals know somehow that they're very beloved and special, and so they just do a great job. And I've been doing this for 17, 18 years, and there's never been any beagle attacking a guinea pig or anything, although I'm aware that there's a beagle right there and a guinea pig right there, so it could happen. Some people think that it's really funny or comical or sort of cutesy to bring animals into our sanctuaries, our houses of worship, as is done in many churches on this St. Francis Sunday, and other faith traditions do it too. But it actually isn't funny at all. I think it's a really important reminder of the larger creation in which we are blessed to live. And when we bring these critters in, and of course all of them aren't here in body, but some of them will be here in photos or stuffed animal form, we're introducing each other to other important and beloved members of our families who do a lot to minister to us in our lives. The current Pope, as you may know, is named for Francis of Assisi, who is the patron saint of animals. And I was very gratified, as you may have also been, to hear Pope Francis say not too long ago to a little boy, "Paradise is open to all creatures," thereby ending the argument that even good dogs don't go to heaven. So let's talk for just a minute about paradise. There's a creation story that most of you know, and children, you should know it too, and it's a story about the first human beings called Adam and Eve. This is a story, a creation story from the Bible. And they lived in a perfect paradise, a garden, at the beginning of time. They were having a great life with all the beautiful creation around them, trees and flowers and sky and all the fresh water they could drink and all the animals. But they wanted to know more about their surroundings, so God said, why don't you choose names for everything? I'm going to give you that. You know, I've created this whole thing. I'm going to have a nap now. So why don't you go ahead and name everything? That might help you remember where, what they all are. Well, for some people, this story means that humans are the most important of all the animals. And the fancy religious word for that belief is dominion. It has a common word root with the word dominate or dominance, dominion. These people believe that having dominion over the animals gives humans the right to make all the decisions for themselves that benefit them, and not to consider animals as important and dignified creatures who themselves feel and love and hurt and suffer and experience joy in life and deserve to be treated fairly and with compassion and consideration. But we believe those things in this church. We believe that that's what animals deserve. We believe here that the Adam and Eve story about naming the animals is a story about humans having the first act of responsibility for being in right relationship with animals, for caring about them and protecting them. When you all got the animals that you have now, what was the first thing you did? One of the very first things that you might have done. Did your animal come with a name? How many of you named your animals when you adopted or found them or bought them? Me too, right? I had a cat, and I named her Ermengarde after a character who wails a lot in a show that I love. Her name wasn't that before, and she didn't like that name. And then I got, and she named herself. She told me what her name was. And then I got Max, who had a little short name, and I made it more special. He's now Maxfield First Parish. Some of you get the joke. It's a promise. When you name your animal, that's a promise you're making to that animal that you will take care of it, that it's now part of your family, part of your heart. And you've committed to that huge amount of work it takes to care for your animal. So it's a really special honor, animals, I'm talking to you. It's a special honor to take care of you, even though you're messy and a kind of a pain in the neck sometimes, and you wake us up too early. It upsets me and all of us very much when we hear about people being mean to animals or neglecting them. So I want to especially talk to the children right now and say that you should absolutely always find a grown-up and tell them. When you see an animal being mistreated, if you hear a dog crying a lot in the neighborhood and it doesn't stop, or if you see a cat walking around looking really skinny and sick or limping, please tell someone so that they can help that animal. Because you know what? They can't speak for themselves. They need you to be their voice and you to remember that they are tender-hearted little beings. So if you see one of them in a car on a hot day with the windows rolled up, they need you to be their voice. Some of us live in a neighborhood in Lynn where there was a man who was being really mean to some doggies, and it upset us very much, and so that's why I decided to talk about protecting animals today. This morning, the Green Sanctuary ministry team leaders thought that we should do that. We all know how much our animals mean to us as comforters when we're sad or hurt ourselves, or when someone is being mean to us, or the world feels scary, or it's very cold outside and we want someone to cuddle up with. When I went to the Pembroke Animal Shelter in 2002 and then the Situate Animal Shelter in 2008 to rescue my cat first and then my dog, I knew that in truth it was they who rescued me. And I know a lot of you feel the same way about your animals. They take care of me too. And they protect me. So Karen and I just got our blessing hands ready for the main thing that we're here to do today, which is to thank God for our animals and lay our hands on them in blessing. But I want all of you to know that every single one of you is capable of giving blessings anytime. You all have blessing hands and hearts. I want you to know that anytime you want to send love and gratitude through yourself and into somebody or something else, you can do that. You don't have to be a minister. You don't have to be trained. You just have to know that you are beloved of God, that you are part of precious creation, and that part of how you show that love and your gratitude for being here is to just pass that into somebody else who needs it or another creature who needs that blessing.